All right, first thing first, I gotta say this. All right, I'm a big Brandon Moreno fan, so if I sound biased, you know why. Brandon Moreno just lost yet another split decision to Brandon Raw Dog Royval. You know what? I feel bad. I feel very bad for Brandon Moreno because he's been in these like very close fights for so many times, and every single time it's been close, just never gone his way. We know how he goes in MMA. It feels like it could go either way with the judges. It really can. I can see a fight one way, and then you can see a fight a different way, and we can both score the same fight in many different ways, right? So that's one of the biggest controversy in the MMA world. It's especially during close fights. What do we score more? Do we score more the damage, or do we score more the volume? I guess it was the story of the fight. And just before I dive into it, I just feel bad for Brandon Moreno just looking back at it, because I remember making a video. I think it was after UFC 290. I know, 290. It was UFC 290 when Moreno fought Pantoja, and I said after the decision was read, I recorded a video and I said, why can't we have a robbery in our favor? And I remember talking about this a long time ago, and it felt like at that point where like, goddamn, Moreno is in another close fight that feels like it maybe is gonna go the other way, and then yet it goes the other way. And obviously that fight with Figueiredo that I thought was super close as well. That third fight that he lost via, I think, majority decision or very close decision. And then, that draw as well in the first Figueiredo. So he's had that Figueiredo that was a draw, that first one, that arguably, obviously, it was a tough fight, that first one, and I wouldn't debate it for Moreno, but I just remember being like, yes, there's a possibility here for him to win, and he didn't get it. And then, obviously, in that first fight, there was also a point taken away, I think, in one of the rounds. So it was like a big controversy there. And then that third Figueiredo fight, I thought there was a big probability that he was going to win. I thought he had done enough, and he loses. And then that Pantoja fight as well. To be honest, it was 50-50. It was a very, very close fight, but I could have saw a way where Moreno won. It was close though, and as I was watching it, I thought Pantoja won. So I'm not here saying like he's been robbed many times. I'm just saying he's been in so many close decisions where it just don't go his way. Usually you see guys in close decisions and one doesn't go your way, the other goes. You know what I mean? But for Moreno, just doesn't have that luck. I feel a bit bad for him because, in this specific fight, we always say this, right? We always say damage trumps all. And I've heard this from every single, MMA journalist or MMA content creator in the world, or everybody that talks about MMA or how to judge fights. Damage is the highest factor to judge a fight. And I think undeniably Moreno landed the bigger shots in this fight. He didn't land as much. He didn't land as, significant, or I want to say he didn't attempt as many as Royval. Royval is like a little Marab, to be honest. I don't understand his cardio. It's absolutely insane. Even in that Pantoja fight, it was like crazy. But he landed a lot of punches, but it was more so the volume and not as much damage. You look at their faces. Royval had a big bruise, and legs were torn apart, and like you could see Moreno had done damage. Moreno too was feeling it. I mean, it's a fight, but it definitely felt like Moreno had done more damage, had found the bigger shots throughout the fight, had landed a few takedowns, even though obviously Royval is so fast and so quick on the ground that he can just get back up. This is the flyweight division. It's rare that you see a guy that can hold a flyweight down. Even Cejudo, who's an Olympic gold medalist at flyweight, had struggle, taking people down and keeping them there. So it's very rare to see it, but Moreno tried and had a few takedowns. And I saw a lot of people even in the comments saying, like, in the fifth round, he was fighting like he was up 3-1, like, clinching or something like that. I don't understand. Like, this is MMA, right? You have a few good moments. Royval is definitely longer. He was throwing more shots on the feet, and he had probably better cardio. So Moreno tried a high IQ play. I'm gonna land some big shots, which he did in the 5th round, and then controlled him on the fence. It might not be the most engaging and interesting stuff, but that's what wins fight, and that's what should have been counted. So a lot of people were saying like it was dumb move by Moreno or something. What should he have just brawled for 5 minutes? I don't really understand it. And for Herb Dean, this is one very, very topic that I feel a lot of people are not talking about. I don't understand this whole separating them as soon as they start clinching. It was so weird. It was very odd. And Herb Dean usually is one of my favorite refs. I mean, he's so fun to watch, right? He's so invested into it. But in this fight specifically, I mean, he's had mistakes and blunders, and I feel like I'm not gonna like picking points every single mistakes that every referee has. It's the world of MMA. But in this fight, he had many chances to realize, wait, what the fuck am I doing? But he still did. So as soon as Moreno clinched, I think he gave him a minute, or actually even before that, bro, a minute and a half into the fight, Moreno was just running around, like gauging distance, not throwing too many, but just figuring out the offense of one another. It's the first minute of the fight, and Herb Dean's like, engage. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is a fight. What are you going to do if I don't engage? Are you going to, like, take a point off of both of us? Or what is this? Like, this is a fight. I need my time to, like, figure the person out, figure out my distance. Royval's the taller dude, longier. Did I just say longier? Rangier fighter. So, like, I need to figure out my distance and pick my shots the right way. What is he talking? Engage. What? This is an MMA fight. If I want to just stand there and not do anything, there's no rule against that. I thought that was so weird. But, like, obviously, we want actions, but this is an MMA fight. Let them figure it out, especially a minute into the fight just feels absolutely weird. But then after even the clinching, like, I mean, Moreno had the clinch maybe for 30, 40 seconds, and then Herb Dean was already like, come on, do something. I'm going to separate you. And then he separated them maybe a minute into it. And then Moreno got the clinch again, 10 seconds in, separates them again. I'm like, what are we doing here? Is this not MMA? Even if Moreno just wants to, take a breather and hold Royval on the cage, it's a technique. And if Royval can't get away from it, you shouldn't separate them after 10 seconds. It just doesn't make any sense. And I thought Herb Dean's decision-making was absolutely stupid. It just does not make sense. I understand if a guy's like clearly just holding on for dear life, they're not doing anything, both guys are tired, or they're just not moving for 2, 3, 4 minutes. It depends. But for a scenario where Moreno's using that to his advantage and Royval clearly cannot get away from it, I feel that's stupid. I feel that's absolutely retarded. And Herb Dean's, I thought that was a big mistake. So I didn't like to see it. And overall, I thought Moreno, I'd probably have to look back at it. Right now, obviously, I say this because I'm biased. I love Moreno, and I think we all love Moreno. And I try my best to be as unbiased as I can as I'm watching the fights. I'm like, it could go the other way around. So make sure to win this. I'm kind of saying this in my head, like, people might see it the other way, but deep down inside, do I actually see it go Royval's way, or am I just like trying to play it safe? You know what I mean? So it's kind of the way I'm seeing this. I'm kind of like making sure, I'm if the guy I wants to win is actually winning, or it's actually closer than it is. So it was a close fight, but I thought Moreno did, land the better shots and the bigger shots in the first. It was a very close one, but they didn't, do it much in the first. But Moreno landed a few big shots in the first. I thought he won the second round, and I thought he won the 5th round. So I mean, it's another tough one, and it felt like Royval he thought he lost the fight when they called, they said Brandon. They're both named Brandon, so it was kind of weird. But Royval thought he lost the fight as soon as he heard Brandon. So you kind of figured out the mentality behind it. I feel a bit sad for Moreno, but at the same time, I'm happy because Royval's a gangster, and I love the post-fight press conference. And I think he's a cool guy, very, very fun to watch. I mean, his gas tank is just to be studied. Him and Merab, bro, they need to be studied because it's insane. Even on the ground, like, he's the type of guy that looks for submission so fast. He'll lock up an arm, or he'll do this. He uses his fucking shin to try to choke Moreno off of his back. It was actually insane to watch. But he does these things so fast that as a fighter, I kind of understand Moreno. You don't want to be in that guard. It's just annoying. You're getting elbowed from the back. You're getting threatened off submissions the whole time. So you always get back to your feet. And yeah, Royval's good. He's very, very good. But like I said, I do feel bad a little bit for Moreno. And but overall, it was a great event. We also saw Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. Extremely impressive. I talked a lot of shit. And like I was watching this fight, I remember after the end of the first round, Ortega went back to his corner, and his corner was like kind of stunned a little bit, like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? Or I think he was saying some shit like, come on, man, you want this, get back to it, and like, you got this, it's your heart, your gut, you got it, it's in you. I'm like, what? Is that all you have to give him? Like, I don't know, technique stuff, maybe shoot for takedowns or move around. It just felt like, you got this, right? You're a gutsy fighter, and that's what he is, Ortega. But it felt a little bit like a lamb being sent to slaughter a little bit. Ortega, fighting, not fighting for 2 years, and then fighting a Yair Rodriguez who's extremely dangerous, who's been active, who just fought for the title, who's gained momentum since the first fight. In the first fight, he got pieced up too during the time that he was fighting. But we just realized that it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time for Rodriguez, because it's basically the same fight applied into this one. The first fight just replayed into this one for the first round. He got pieced up pretty badly on the feet. I mean, it was a bad beating in the first round, but he stayed in there. Ortega just does that. He got like tremendous chin and guts and like heart, to be honest. Like, it's that Mexican heart, to be honest. He showed it. And in the second round, took him down, and then in the third, submitted him. You could just see Yair fading, and as soon as he took him down in the third, you could just tell like it was going to be over. And Ortega got one of the best comeback fight of the year. It's probably going to win comeback of the year. You can't find a better comeback than that. He was pretty much out in the first round, you know what I mean? So it was horrible to look at, but as Ortega got back, it was like, damn, he still got it. And we were wrong about him. A lot of people were, annoyed that he was still ranked, that he was still like talked about and like comparing. His last win was when Habib, blah, blah, blah. It's just, the statistics are dumb, but it's like ESPN statistic. You find shit to talk about, and I get it, but he's been through injuries. He's had long layoffs. It's like, you can never win. You can never win when you're on the internet, to be honest. When people have something to say, they'll say something. Because look at Alexander Volkanovski right now, as we speak. The guy came back after a loss to Makhachev too soon, and he lost to Ilia Topuria. And people are like, why did you come back so fast? That's retarded. And then Brian Ortega, the same thing. He got beat up bad by Max Holloway, by Alexander Volkanovski, by Yair Rodriguez in that fight. Injured his shoulder. He takes the proper time to not only heal from the mental trauma, the CTE that you get in a fight, but also the injuries and the surgeries that you have to get to fix your shoulders. You take the proper time. People are like, oh, what are you doing? You take too long. Where are you at? You should be unranked and still. It's like, you can never win, because if you had come back before you got knocked out, people were like, you just got beat up. Why did you come back so early? So it's like, yeah, the over here, I think this translates into life in general. Just do what makes you happy, and just do what you think is best for you. Because the noise, there'll always be for regardless. And that's just what you realize. Like, people were talking so much shit, and I included thought Ortega was going to get slaughtered in this fight. But, figured out, like, it's just better. I mean, Ortega's still young. He's just 33. So, like, rushing him back into a fight was just stupid. You take your time, you heal up, and then you come back fresh when you're ready. And you can't lose in front of your ex-girlfriend. You just can't do it, especially in front of Tracy Cortez. Did he call her out in the post-fight interview? I think he said, like, some people are holding me down, and God blessed me in front of those same people, or something like that. It was kind of funny. But that energy, that's a new mythical fighter, like Brian Ortega fighting in front of his ex. Like, and I think he had a new girlfriend that was bad as hell too in the octagon as he was winning. So shout out to Brian Ortega. He's winning on and off the octagon, so respect. It was a great card. I had a lot of fun. Let me know your thoughts about it down below. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. I have a deeper dive to go record right now. So $2.99. Stay tuned. This is going to be a big one.